Hey there, thanks for joining me today. This is Laura Lynn with Keep Inking Up. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up! In San Antonio, Texas. And this is another 3-card video. And today we're using the beautiful Friendship stamp set. It's a photopolymer stamp set. I'm so happy to say that this stamp set is returning in our new annual catalog, which will be coming out in June. So excited to see all the new stuff in there, but this one is returning, and I'm so glad because I use this set quite frequently. I just love it, and I know that you will too. So we're going to be using this stamp set today. I'm going to share a one-layer card. Let me go ahead and get this ready. My one-layer card is uses a thick Whisper White card base that is 5.5 by 8.5, and it is scored in 4 1/4. So I'm going to put that down here on my deluxe foam mat. This is a photopolymer stamp set, and I like to use my deluxe foam mat whenever I use photopolymer. And I have a piece of, which I was taking off earlier, a piece of Post-it tape. I bought a roll of Post-it tape from Amazon many years ago, and I'm still using it. You can reuse these pieces of Post-it tape. You can tell I've already used this one in the past. And I'm going to use this to mask off the back of my card. So I'm going to line up the Post-it tape to my score line so that I won't stamp on the back of my card. It's fine to stamp on the back of your card, but I don't want to do that today. So we're using the beautiful Friendship stamp set, and these are the colors I'll be using. Seaside Spray, Blueberry Bushel, Granny Apple Green, and Crumb Cake. Blueberry Bushel is a retiring in color. I'm really sad to see it go. So if you are watching this video after June 2nd, Blueberry Bushel is no longer available. But I believe as of this morning it was, so I'm using it today. I'm going to start with the Seaside Spray color. This is another in color, but it'll be around for at least another year. It will be retiring next year. And I'm going to, oh, my stamps are sticking to each other over here. Get them. Oh my goodness, they're sticky. I'm going to use the hydrangea image. Let me move this a little bit so I can use my scratch paper. I'm going to ink up my hydrangea, and I'm going to stamp off on my scratch paper and then onto my card. Now I realize that is extremely faint and difficult to see, but it's just providing a little bit of background color, so it's not so stark white. I'm not intending it to be a super bright color. Okay, so I'll put that aside, and I'm going to leave the Seaside Spray out, and next I'm going to use this larger rose image, or it's peony. I'm not really sure what the flower is, but it's a really pretty big flower, so I'm going to ink that up in the Seaside Spray, and this time I'll ink it in full strength. I'll do it down here, and then I'll do it up here. Okay. I'll set that aside, and I think that I'm done for the Seaside Spray, so I'll close that up. And next I'm going to bring in the Blueberry Bushel, which is, like I said, a beautiful bright blue, primary blue color. And I'll use the smaller rose image in this color. And I'm going to stamp those right over the middle of the flowers from the previous stamp. And this just gives a little bit of depth to the flowers. And I'm going to leave that open because I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment, even though I haven't finished the rest of the stamping. In the stamp set there are some different sentiments. I'll pull this in so you can see. I'm going to be using the birthdays are the best days, but you could use any of the other sentiments in there as well. I need a lot of birthday cards. Everybody I know has a birthday, so I send out a lot of birthday cards. So I'll ink that up in Blueberry Bushel, and then I will stamp that here in the corner. Oh, I got a little bit crooked, but I think that that's okay. Now I can close up the Blueberry Bushel, and next go on to the Granny Apple Green for our leaves. And this is really where this card will kind of come to life a little bit. And there are 2 different leaf stamps in the set. There's one with a group of 3 leaves and one with a group of 2. I'm going to start with the 3. I don't know why, I just always start with the 3. And I'll ink that up in Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to stamp it down, and then I'm going to do it again and do generational stamping to get kind of like a little branch there. And I'm going to continue doing that in just a couple of places around This will be, it's different every time I make this. I'm just putting green, kind of spreading it around. I think that's good for that stamp, and now I'll go to the 2-leaf stamp. And I'll do the same thing. Stamp and stamp again, so I have different amounts of ink. I like when it fades off a little bit. I think that's good, so I'll close up the green. And doesn't that green just make a big difference on the card? And then I'm going to come in with crumb cake, and I'm going to use this image. I'm really not sure what that is. It's just a nice pretty dotty image, and I'm going to add that. Again, I'm going to do some stamping off so I get some different variations of the color. And I'm just going to kind of fill in here and there with that crumb cake color. I just really like the dots. I think the dots add a lot to the card. I think I'll do one more over here. I think this is a little bit of a gap there. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that. I'll close this up. So now I can take off my Post-it tape. And I'm going to set this aside so I don't get any ink where I don't want it. And I can go ahead and fold my card. I forgot to bring my bone folder over, so I'm just going to press with my finger for right now. And there is a simple 1-layer card using the beautiful Friendship stamp set. The sentiment is slightly crooked, but I think it's still a very pretty card. Now, if you did want to step it up, I have a couple of examples. Here I did the same layout. I just added it on a green card base instead of white, and I layered it with some blueberry bushel, and I layered the sentiment on a blueberry bushel starburst. Sadly, the starburst punch is retiring, so if you don't have that yet, I do recommend that you get that. The birthdays are the best days was punched out using the 2-inch punch. Thankfully, that is not retiring, but the starburst punch is. I also added some basic rhinestones, I think, that add a lot of sparkle. So this is a card that's stepped up a little bit. And then I have another one that stepped up a little bit more. This one I did the same kind of stamping, but I cropped it out using the Stitch So Sweetly dies. I used a sentiment from So Sentimental for the For You, just added a little piece of the Seaside Spray. And then here in the background you see a piece of Seaside Spray cardstock that I have embossed with the subtle 3D embossing folder. And I added a little bit of white baker's twine just to punch this one up a little bit further. So this one's a little bit more involved. You do need to have a big shot to make this card. So those are the 3 cards that I've made using this beautiful Friendship stamp set with the same ink colors. Now I did want to share, I was having so much fun. I did make another card. This one again uses the Big Shot because I have the rectangle stitch dies here, and for the sentiment as well, and this sentiment is from a retired stamp set. But I think this is a really pretty wedding card. The card base is the Seaside Spray and then the blueberry bushel, so it looks a little different than the Granny Apple Green card base, but I made that one. I thought that one was pretty. Here is another 1-layer card that I made where the sentiment's a little straighter, just playing with the layout of the colors, or layout of the flowers. And then I did some other colors. Y'all know me, I love purple, so this is the same kind of layout using purple ink pads. So I used the Highland Heather and the Gorgeous Grape, still the Granny Apple Green, and the Blackberry Bliss for there. And here's another. I haven't made cards out of these yet, but there's some more purple. This one uses mostly the hydrangea, just a little different layout. And this is a really old stamp set, but I was playing with the blues, the blueberry bushel on there. And then I have another one which is very different looking. I tried to use all browns. I thought, well, that might be interesting, and I have an old retired crumb cake card to go with it. But here again I used Early Espresso, crumb cake, Sahara Sand. Yeah, so I used all browns. So it's not as bright and colorful, but I think it's still a very interesting looking card. I like it. So anyway, I just wanted to share a bunch of examples that I've been making in the last day or so with this beautiful friendship stamp set. I love these flowers. So I hope you found this video helpful, and will get out your stamp set and get to making some cards. Card making is so needed these days. I find it very relaxing, and it kind of takes my mind off of the difficult things that we are facing these days. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.